Global Carbon Exchange is an environmental sustainability consultancy. We work with organizations and industries from all sectors in order to reduce their impact on the environment, because we believe that companies, corporations and industries are, or have been in the past, the largest contributors to environmental degradation, and therefore they also have the opportunity to make the biggest changes to moving towards a greener and cleaner environment and economy. Companies around the world are starting to incorporate sustainable development objectives into their strategic objectives. They realize that they can maximize on their eco advantage, they can reduce their operational costs by resource efficiency, and they can create new opportunities in different markets. Various companies in different industries would have different challenges in terms of climate change and in terms of sustainable development. For example, fisheries would have greater concern about depleting fish stocks. Utility companies and mining companies, for example, would be more concerned with water usage as well as electricity consumption. Transportation industry might be more concerned with petrochemical usages and depletion of that resource. So the challenges between companies and industries are obviously very vast and they are different, but the solutions are often quite similar in terms of how they can innovatively address the challenges for the changing climate.
We've boarded Oceana's largest ship, which has just come in from sea, to gather information about the company's transformation journey. In the second part of our report, we'll talk about the sustainable management of marine resources.
Political change doesn't really lead automatically to widespread economic benefit for all. We believe that a broad-based approach to transformation is necessary, and particularly focused on aspects like job creation and skills development.
The Black Economic Empowerment Programme, or BEE, was launched by the South African government to redress the inequalities of apartheid by giving previously disadvantaged groups in South Africa economic privileges not previously available to them. It includes measures such as employment preference, skills development, ownership and management transformation, socio-economic development and preferential procurement.
If you look then in the fishing industry, commercial fishing rights are allocated based on your level of compliance with various criteria, the most important of which is transformation. In 2004, we started our 5-year South Africanisation program, where we were focused on training 123 crew of the midwater horse mackerel fishery to firstly create jobs, and then secondly look at alleviating the skills shortage in the maritime sector, and particularly in the fishing sector as regards navigational engineers, etc. You know, if you look back at 2004, most of the senior officers and engineers were all Russian. South Africans were really deckhands and they worked in factory. Whereas currently we've got 69 South Africans on board, with 20 of them being at officer level, holding positions at engineering or technical level. So there's been quite a change. We also have spent 3.7 million rand on the training programs within that South Africanisation program, and it's gone towards training the crew as well as preparing them to eventually take command of this vessel. Eugene Burgens is a success story because he was one of the original recruits who joined in 2003. He's managed to stay on the program and is still with the Desert Diamond.
I started straight after I matriculated with Oceana. So I started off in the fish factory where we're processing fish. From that position I went onto the deck as an able seaman, and my current position I'm a mate on board the vessel.
We're now in the control room with Oceana's CEO, Francois Kittel.
The Khula Trust was created in 2006. It was at a time when our board and our shareholders thought it was important to spread the wealth created by this company more broadly. So 11.9% of our equity was being placed in trust for all of our black employees. There's a lot of positivity around what has been achieved to date. Lamberts Bay has been very important to the company. It's where the company was founded in 1918. As a result of some changes in fishing patterns, our original processing activities in Lamberts Bay had to be curtailed and rationalised in 1990s. Instead of walking away from the town, which was at that time totally reliant on Oceana for its existence, we decided to diversify our activities. And so we turned one of our fish processing factories into a French fry facility.
Met die sluiting van die vismeelaanleg was ons die geleentheid gegaan om naar die aardappelaanleg wat ook deel is van Oceana se gebouw. Dat het gemaakt dat niet één van ons werk moet doen.
At the time, Oceana commissioned a feasibility study to determine which locally available raw materials could be processed viably to establish a sustainable alternative business.
Dat wys ook vir ons as gemeenskap committed is Oceana ten opsigte van nie net werkskepping, maar ook hulle involvement in die community.
Corporate social responsibility also forms part of Oceana's overall transformation policy. The company operates a clinic and provides medical assistance to employees who are not able to afford medical aid, for example. They also provide them with literacy and numeracy programs, as well as official training qualifications. In order to assist the Lamberts Bay municipality, Oceana has invested locally in infrastructure and schools, as well as providing sea rescue and firefighting services in the region.
Francois, the fishing industry faces some interesting challenges in terms of sustainability and its contribution to food security.
The Lucky Star brand is Oceana's main contributor to the South African protein footprint. Fish proteins are the most affordable of all of the animal proteins, and as such our products reach an important sector within the African continent. Sustainable resource management is key to Oceana's business practices as we rely on a renewable natural resource. As such, we are a founding member of the Responsible Fisheries Alliance, and we are proud that all of our targeted species fall within the South African Sustainable Seafood Initiative's Green List. The government is responsible in managing our resource for setting our annual total allowable catches, which is the volume of fish resources that we can harvest. We collect data on all of our vessels. We allow observers on our vessels from the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, and we assist where possible in funding outside projects which could assist to better data collection and understanding of how our resources exist. 2011 was the 7th year that Oceana has been included on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange's Social Responsibility Index.
The Responsible Fisheries Alliance is an alliance between WWF and the 4 biggest fishing companies who have committed time and resources to implementing and entrenching responsible fisheries management in South Africa. The most important element of that is an ecosystem approach to fisheries, which really holistically considers the whole ecosystem, including the socio and economic elements of fisheries management. The Alliance has catalysed a number of really great outcomes. One that illustrates this nicely is the issue of seabird bycatch. What was happening is that seabirds were being killed behind trawlers. The Alliance then catalysed a project to better understand the solutions to address the problem. The vessels then immediately implemented the recommendations coming out of that project, with WWF and the fishing companies lobbying government to implement improved regulations. We were able to successfully make those changes, and today regulations and mitigation measures are being implemented sector-wide and have dramatically reduced seabird mortalities in our fishing vessels.
An insightful journey into the world of the fishing industry and its contribution to sustainability. But our journey doesn't end in the port of Cape Town, so stay with us on It's Africa's Time as we travel to our next destination.